Jay Plyburn, you recently helped out a couple. So a couple came to us, right? Mm-hmm. With a big problem. They were owed a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
And they needed some help.
They definitely did. John and Carol Gee of Sparta. This is a really wild story. They had ordered a slider door for their patio from Lowe's, a company that many of us utilize on a regular basis. Right. And they had too. They had been loyal customers at Lowe's for many years. Ordered this door. It didn't come for about 5-6 months, and it was damaged, according to the Gees.
He checked the slider out, and the slider was damaged. I think 5 different spots on it. He took pictures.
It was all documented by the technician that was supposed to install it. So it was sent back. Another door gets ordered. It comes a couple months later. It's the wrong size. It's actually the entirely wrong product.
This is what we wanted to order. Well, we did order, and we never got it.
So they went through the process again. And then they said the technician came out a third time to install the slider door, but the door didn't actually arrive. So the Gees, both in their 70s, they were kind of tired with the fuss at this point. They threw their arms up and said, well, we're not supposed to have this door. Right. We're just going to ask Lowe's for a refund.
I told them I'm done. I want my money back. I said, I'm done with you. Just give me my money back.
And again, this is something that we all do. We don't get what we want. We ask for a refund.
Right.
They didn't get that refund. Month after month went by. They kept reaching out to Lowe's, talking to different customer service reps, and according to John and Carol both, they kind of felt like they were getting the runaround. They kept getting passed from one manager to another, and on multiple occasions they said they were promised a check is in the mail. They would stay home waiting for the check, and this check never materialized.
I bet I made probably 20, 30 calls. Constantly, every 2 or 3 days or every week. And anytime I call, I'm on that phone anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour talking to them. And nobody can get nothing straight.
$4,000 they had paid. So it's not a small chunk of change. Now for Lowe's, it's not a huge chunk of change, right?
Right.
So they felt kind of duped. They felt like they'd been kind of misled. They felt deceived by this whole process, and they really just wanted to get their money back.
This has been a nightmare that we would never, ever imagine that would ever happen.
Well, a couple things. Who knew a sliding glass door was so expensive?
Yeah, it's a very fancy sliding glass door.
Number one. And they also, they kept a pretty good record, right? Of
They did.
How many times they called, who they spoke with, they have their receipt kind of thing. But you also, vetted this whole thing to make sure that it was legit, right?
Absolutely. They had reached out to us over the phone. They left a voicemail here at the station saying, hey, we have a situation that we need help with. Hopefully you guys can get involved. And they went so far as to say, we didn't want to involve media in this. We don't want to put anybody, any company on blast, but we're out $4,000 and we're hoping you can help us with the situation.
A cousin recommended us to get in touch with TV 13. We hesitated. We said, we don't want to go this far. We don't have to go this far. We didn't know what else to do, but we wanted an end of this because it's a strain and it's a stress day in and day out, getting these calls or calling and getting lies and, like I said, and deceived.
So we got involved and, did what made sense, which was just to reach out to Lowe's directly, called the corporate office and emailed the corporate office and said, hey, we're hearing from this West Michigan couple that they went through this and this and this. They have the receipt. We've seen the receipt that they had ordered this. They didn't get it. They say they've been calling, what's going on here? We quickly got an answer from Lowe's corporate.
So what did they say?
Lowe's corporate responded in saying, we are working with this couple to get them their money back. They couldn't really comment on it past that. So I said, okay, that's great. So we followed up with the couple and said, they say that you're going to get your money back. But the couple still, they don't believe it at this point. So we've heard this time and time again.
Right.
We still have not seen the money. So even after we heard back from Lowe's corporate, this couple in Sparta, they said, we'll believe it when we see it. So fast forward a few days, we heard from Lowe's corporate that there was a check in the mail. We had a tracking number, and we were able to see on the website for FedEx that it was supposed to be arriving at their address on whatever day it was a few days ago. And so, but again, they kind of were hesitant to get too excited because
they've heard this before.
They've heard this before, checks in the mail, and until they could see that cash for themselves, they weren't believing it.
But it's just been, it's terrible to be deceived. And a year we've been patient. I mean, we willingly gave our $4,000.
The check did arrive a few days ago. They took it to the bank, and what was really fun is to be there with them. They didn't just deposit this $4,000. They cashed it.
They cashed it.
Walked out with cash
With
in
cash.
If it wasn't for TV 13, I probably won't be holding this money in my hand.
Yes.
So, and to be there for that was really special. They were overjoyed, as if they'd, won the lottery. Because again, the whole process took more than a year.
That's incredible
It's
to me.
pretty wild. They ordered the slider door in December 2021. It arrived, like I said, damaged in May of 2022. Move ahead to fall of 2022, and they're just trying to get a refund. So now here we are in January 2023, and they had been back and forth with these customer service reps. So it was wild to think that they'd been trying the avenues that they thought made sense, and were getting nowhere. They reached out to us, and it
it's
happened
also the
quick.
avenues I think any one of us would have done,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you would think, calling the company, I've got my receipt. Those are the things any one of us would do, right?
And they also went into the store. This
Right.
was one particular Lowe's that they were dealing with in West Michigan here. So they would go into the store in person and say, hey, here's my name, here's my receipt. We've been trying to get our money back for a long time. And again, the geese say that they were just really getting the runaround. They kept getting passed from one manager to another, and everybody said, we can't help you. Or they were told, yeah, your check should be there in the next day or two.
How frustrating, right?
Seriously frustrating.
What surprised you the most during this whole process?
I think what surprised me the most was how quickly Lowe's responded in the way that they should have once we got involved. It's like the stakes were raised all of a sudden. We reached out to Lowe's corporate and said, hey, we have a story. We're planning to put it on the air on such and such day. Can you give us a response? How are you responding to these people? And Lowe's responded kind of in the way that we thought they would, to say, we're working with these people. But again, until we actually saw that money, we weren't really believing that anything was being done. So I guess I'm just surprised that it all worked so smoothly once we intervened.
Yeah.
Which is
So
great.
what was it like for you when you got the call from them that they had actually gotten the check?
Well, I think it was, a little bit of hesitation on my part too, because anybody can hand over a check. Is the money there though? And I thought, surely Lowe's is not going to deliver a check and then have it bounce.
Oh no.
That wouldn't look good for them, especially
Right.
after we'd already covered this story.
Right.
But I was thrilled to hear that they had actually gotten the check, and I told them, I said, hold on to it. We're coming to speak
Right.
with you guys again. I want to be there as you take it to the bank. But yeah, it was nice to hear that it actually arrived, because again, that was a big step. They kept hearing the check was on the way, but then it never came. So the day it did come was huge for them.
And they had to have been grateful, right?
Oh, they're very grateful. Yeah, they were. They believe that they would have never seen that $4,000 again had we not gotten involved.
Thank you very, very much. Like I said before, I highly doubt we'd ever seen this check without your help.
That makes me feel really good. Just holding a company accountable and getting these people the money that they're entitled to. It was their money to begin with.
And you mentioned this earlier, that amount of money to a huge corporation is really nothing.
Yeah.
But to this couple, it's a big deal.
To this couple, they're both retired, they're on fixed income, $4,000 goes a long way. And you think about the fact that they were without that $4,000 for 13 months,
Right.
over a year. Wow. So yeah, Lowe's probably has $4,000 go through a cash register in an hour. No big deal to a huge company like that, but to many of us, $4,000 is huge.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so we hope to continue to bring these types of stories. Right?
We do. Yep. So we have developed this help team here at 13 on Your Side, and we're asking people that need help to reach out to us. You can call 616-559-1313. You can send us an email, help@13onyourside.com, and we're going to go through this process of vetting the whole thing. Right. What have you tried so far? What has not worked? And then see if it sounds legitimate, if it makes sense for us to get involved and start holding people and places accountable and seeing if we can get some results for people. So far, so good. This one kind of, I feel like we knocked it out of the park, not because we did anything really outrageous.
Right.
We just, put a little bit of pressure on this corporate entity, and all of a sudden this local couple has their $4,000 back. But yeah, we're hoping to have more successful stories like this when it comes to helping people, because as it turns out, there's a lot of people out there who need help.
Absolutely.
And they don't know what avenues to take. So.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Kirk.
All right.